World Eaters are an awesome army that have not been getting enough love on the internet recently, so I decided to go ahead and break down some of the challenges with currently building World Eaters, and I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways to actually be playing them competitively and, just have an absolute blast with them. These are going to be strong, and they're going to be totally viable, so tune in, let's get some World Eaters down today. Basically, here's the problem with the current World Eater builds if you're a World Eater player or if you don't happen to know about World Eaters. They are very limited in their data sheets and they are kind of in a holding pattern as to basically wait for your codex. So they really have a very, very limited amount of current builds. They're all basically built off the exact same core, except for one alternate build. So you're going to have Angron, and you're going to be spamming 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound. The only difference to this that we've really seen is we have seen the 30 Terminator build, and big credit to Dean. Shout out to him. He runs Blog for the Blood God, who does a lot of World Eaters content, so he did a great job with that. So that 30 Terminator build, which got pretty popular around the time of the WTC last year, was a pretty awesome list. I know I ran it in practice scrims for our team, and it was spicy, and it was very, very different, and it was pretty exciting, but who has 30 freaking Terminators to run it? So that was kind of the issue with it, right? So one of the really cool things is that because of the Grotman's detachment and some of the new points reductions on Demon Princes, it actually doesn't really have to be this way. You don't have to be locked to one build. Now, the reality is, unfortunately, that our Berserker Warbrand is likely just straight up better than Vessels of Wrath, although Vessels of Wrath is pretty cool. For those of you who don't know Vessels of Wrath's detachment is the one that will allow you to choose up to 3 non-legendary character units. They can be either characters or they can be just unit champions. And those unit champions or characters get to just automatically put themselves in an extra Blessings of Khorne. So the Blessings of Khorne are the things that would allow you to advance and charge, get sustained hits, fight undeath, get feel no pains, these types of things. The Berserker Warband is the index attachment that will give you +1 strength and +1 attack when you charge. Now there's also a little bit of a difference between the enhancements and the stratagems. But the detachment rule is basically in Berserker Warband, you hit a little bit, or I'm sorry, in Berserker Warband, you definitely hit maybe, I think it's about 16% harder than that, just on average. But you're kind of reliant on what random you get for the Blessings of Khorne. Whereas for Vessels of Wrath, you definitely hit about 16% less hard, but you do get to guarantee the Blessings of Khorne that you want on the key units that you need. So you're never reliant on luck or dice rolls to get your bots off, which does make it actually quite enticing. So I do believe Vessels provides a huge bit of amount of reliability where Berserker Warband is going to be lacking a bunch. And then the new Demon Point price points become very, very interesting for list building. So I'm going to give you 5 lists right now, and let's break these bad boys down. So standard World Eater list, this is what you have seen. There's nothing really new here. This is basically, I think Anthony Vanilla built the first list that was based, or he didn't build the first one, but he definitely publicized and made it popular. He's a very good player. So this is basically what the standard mold that most World Eaters lists are built off of. You take Angron, you take Lord Invocatus, and you take the Master of Executions with the Berserker Glaive. He's going to give his Khorne Berserker unit fights first, and he has the crazy damage output because he's always rerolling hit rolls and wound rolls, and he's completely fishing for dev wounds against any character units. It's a very challenging unit to deal with since the Khorne Berserkers also have that blood surge ability, so if you shoot them, they get to move d6 inches and they can end in close combat. And you just don't want to mess with that with most armies. Then probably about 2 units of Jackals, 2 units of 8-bound, a big 6-man of Exalted 8-bound, 2 3-mans, and the World Eaters Rhino. This is basically what you're going to see 90% of the time when you're playing World Eaters, and most people who play World Eaters, they enjoy it because it's fun, but they're kind of freaking tired of it. So the alternate main popular list that I was just talking about in my intro was the 30 Terminators list. And this was popularized by Dean off of Blog for the Blood God. Now, I actually think he might have invented this one because I hadn't heard of anyone doing it before him. But he's certainly the one who popularized it. So basically you go, you either go Khorne or you go Lord Invocatus. So it'll change. I think Dean's list actually went Khorne. They didn't take Lord Invocatus. But the core of the list is going to be 3 squads of 10 World Eater Terminators. Then you run 2 units of Chaos Spawn, 3 units of Jackals, 8-bound, 8-bound, 1 unit of Exalted 8-bound, and Bob's your freaking uncle. Now, there are always going to be little variations. Maybe one list wants to take Khorne with Berserkers and a Rhino. But this is the core of it is basically you're going to run the 3 Terminator squads, and that is 1,000 points. So there's not much wiggle room for everything else, but you definitely need 3 units of Jackals, and you do need the 3 units of Terminator squads. Personally, whenever I ran it, I liked it with Invocata, so I can get the scout move on my Terminator squads. And I would probably always start 1 Terminator squad in Deep Strike. But some people don't like that. Some people like having Karn with Berserkers inside a Rhino. So it can change a little bit, but this is roughly what you're going to see whenever you see the 30 Terminators list. Now, what I've done here is I've got 4 other lists here. One that is has happened, but it's been pretty rare, and then the other 3 are going to be pretty new to all of you. So let's check out this one that is a little bit different. It is World Eaters Shooting. So in World Eaters Shooting, you're going to start with double Forge Fiend. Now, you can expand onto this and also take double Brigand. This gives World Eaters actually fairly scary shooting, which is pretty surprising for opponents when they're just getting ready for the big World Eater rush. Well, it also still has quite a World Eater rush. So the core stays, you're going to grab Angron and Lord Invocatus, and then you're going to have a smattering of 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound. So 2 squads of Exalted 8-bound and 1 squad of normal 8-bound. So they're all going to be getting scout moves along with Lord Invocatus. And then you have 3 Jackals just to have 1 sacrificial unit, sticky, and screening stuff. But then you're going to have double Forge Fiends. Now, the difference in this list from other World Eaters list is that Angron here is typically going to be a turn 3, turn 4 piece, and you're generally not going to really be using him turns 1 or 2 so much, because what he's doing here is he's going to be activating his reroll hit roll aura to enable the Forge Fiends to get reroll hit rolls and shooting, which makes them much more efficient. So between 2 reroll hit roll Forge Fiends and 2 units of Brigands, this World Eaters list actually has quite a bit of surprising shooting, not to mention that you still get a crazy 1-2 combo for the jab cross to knock your opponents out in melee. And it's actually done quite well. I was surprised by this when I ran into it at the WTC. And yeah, I think that was what was his name? Leland from Team South Africa actually slapped me in the face with it, and so that it was pretty cool to see. I do think that in general, this list is typically going to be a little bit worse than your standard World Eaters build, but it does have surprises and it has an opportunity to play a different style game, which can really mess with your opponent's head. Now, these next 3 lists are lists that I've been playing around with since we've had the points drop from the Demon Princes and stuff, and I think you're really going to find some of them a little bit enticing. So the first one, I'm actually going to I'm going to surprise a lot of people with this one. So World Eater Allies. So check this bad boy out. So we're going to start with Angron, Karn, and Lord Invocatus. Now, personally, I always prefer Karn over the World Eater Master of Executions. The reason why is Karn always activates. If I can only charge 2 units, let's say I charge 8-bound and I charge Karn's unit. Well, no matter what, I know Karn is going to fight on death. So I don't have to worry about my opponent interrupting on me. So I can always feel comfortable activating my 8-bound first and not caring if my opponent does a combat interrupt to kill Karn before Karn punches them, because Karn will still fight on death and will still kill them. And I don't need to worry about relying on a 4-up roll to have my Blessings of Karn fight on death. Karn's just going to do it innately. So that's why I like Karn. It's up to debate. Some people will like the MOE more, but Karn's a little bit cheaper. He's got that flat 3, and he doesn't need the enhancement for it, and he is just kind of awesome. So I like Karn. Then you have Lord Invocatus, of course, for the scout moves. 2 units of Jackals, 1 unit of 5-man Berserkers to run with Karn, because honestly, Karn's doing all the heavy lifting in that squad. They are more or less just bodies for him. Then I'm going to have 1 unit of 8-bound, 3 units of Exalted 8-bound, so no 6-man, but I'm going to have 3 3-mans, which is still a lot of killing power. 1 Rhino to transport Karn and the Berserkers, but then comes the trick. I'm going to take 10 Bloodletters and Scarbrand. So if most of you don't know, but, well, actually, I can't say that. I'm sure plenty of you know, but Scarbrand got a huge glow up with the most recent points update for demons. He got new data sheet, he got new, his points actually stayed exactly the same, but he just got so much better. Now his aura of +1 attacks to all Legion Demonicas units applies to all Khorne Legion's Demonica units, which includes himself and Bloodthirsters. So he'll be giving himself +1 attack. Now when he gets damaged, so when he goes down to I think 7 wounds, he's going to get +2 attacks to his own profile, stacked with his aura of +1 attacks being at +3 attacks. He also has gained a better breath weapon, going from strength 5 up to strength 8 AP1, ignoring cover. And in addition to that, he now gets to advance and charge. This is amazing, and it dramatically improves his mobility. So he just natively advances and charges. And for a model that only has a movement of, I think it was 8, That's really, really nice. It might actually be 10 now, so I don't remember right offhand. I'd have to check. But that is a dramatic difference in what you're expecting to see from, Scarbrand. Not to mention he also even has obtained a freaking 3-up armor save. 3-up armor save is a very big deal, and it's I just checked, so it's 10 inches of movement on Scarbrand, not 8. So advance and charge innately built into a 10-inch movement makes this guy a prime target to give a serious secondary massive in-your-face threat that in addition to Angron. So now your opponent is really going to have to worry about where they're positioning their models, how their rapid ingress threats is going to go, and it can really be an issue. The Bloodletters also going up to 3 attacks while they're within Scarbrand's aura is also a bonus nice thing. So I am actually really enjoying this list. It's done quite well. I'm not sure it's going to be top, but if you take this, man, and you pilot it correctly, you're going to have a good time, and you're definitely going to surprise your opponents with a powerhouse that they're not prepared for. Then we have Vessels. This is a Vessels of Wrath specific list. So we're going to go Angron, Karn, Avocado, and then we're going to take the Demon Prince with Wings. We're going to give him the Arch Slaughterer. So the Arch Slaughterer will give him +1 AP. And when he is a Vessel of Wrath, which you're always going to choose him to be a Vessel of Wrath, he'll also have +1 damage. So suddenly his 14 attacks at strength 8 AP 0 damage 1 go to 14 attacks at strength 8 AP 1 damage 2. And that is a dramatic world of a difference. Not to mention his strike attacks are going to be strength 10 AP 3 damage 4. And that is huge when you stack it with his ability to choose and designate a target where he's going to get full rerolls to hit and wound. It is quite good on him. He's typically going to either be staging behind a ruin, you're going to guarantee he gets the advance and charge, or you're going to want to rapid ingress him, whatever you want to do. He is going to be a powerhouse, and he's actually quite dang good. And then we're going to do 1 World Eater's Lord on Juggernaut. So he got a huge points drop down to 80 points, and we're going to give him the Gateways to Glory enhancement so that he can walk through walls and models. This way, we can actually end up attaching him to Exalted 8-Bound. Now, once he's attached to the Exalted 8-Bound, he gets to do the scout move with them, and then they will actually move through the walls, or he'll be able to move through the walls just like any other infantry, and they get very, very fast. And he'll add just a little extra punch to those 3-mans that you weren't expecting, and he's got mortals on the charge, and he gives them the ability to re-roll their advances and their charges. And that is just a big darn deal. And a lot of people are not prepared for it, how fast that actually makes your armies. How cool is that? Not to mention, he lets you reroll Blood Surge rolls. So if your opponents shoot the Exalted 8-Bound that he's attached to, you get to reroll the Blood Surge roll when you spend the CP to Blood Surge. This is amazing, and it really increases some utility that your opponent's probably not expecting from you. So that's how it works. 3 8-Bound, 3 units of Exalted 8-Bound, the 6-man, and you have the World Eater's Rhino to transport the Berserkers and Karn. So there you have it. That's the Vessels. I got one last list for you, and then I'm going to rest for the day. Unfortunately, all these lists do kind of still rely on the core of the Exalted 8-Bound, but hopefully we see something very different when the Codex releases in, I think it's just a month or 2 from now. But give these things a whirl. And then lastly, for the World Eaters Alternate, we're going to go Angron, Avocado, or Lord Invocatus, and then 2 Demon Princes, 1 with wings and 1 on the foot. The 1 on foot is going to take Gateways to Glory in this list, where he gets to Kool-Aid Man and just run through walls. So he's going to be able to keep up with all the 8-Bound, giving them a 4-up invulnerable save instead of them having the 5-up invulnerable save, which can be a huge increase in their durability. And then this Demon Prince with wings is going to be the same Demon Prince we saw on the last list, where he gets the Arch Slaughterer for the +1 AP, +1 damage. 2 units of Jackals, 2 units of normal 8-Bound, and then 3 units of Exalted 8-Bound. The list is short, it's simple, it's fast, it does what it needs to do, and it's very, very reliable because you're probably playing this in, you're definitely playing this in Vessels, so that you can guarantee the units that need advance and charge will have advance and charge. So guys, this is, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lists for World Eaters, all packed together in one video. Hope you like it. Give them a try. Let me know how you feel about it. There is another list archetype out there where they just spam Berserkers and Jackals. I can't figure out how to make it good. I know people say it's good. I've played against it. I've played into it. It's never seemed to do anything. So I've just smashed it every time I played it. So I don't think it's good, but that doesn't mean it can't be good. Maybe I just haven't played against the correct pilot with it. So I didn't include it in this list, but like I said, the first 2 that we went to were the standard ones that you're always going to see. The shooting one is a pretty rare one, but does actually have wings. And then the last 3 are of my own creations that I hope you guys go and have a great time playing with. So guys, World Eaters content, here you go. We love you and have a great one. With that, I'm going to carry on for the day. So crump on. Bye-bye.